Good morning, Bones.
Morning, Padre.
So I guess today we were talking about discussing this airliner or aircraft given to the U.S. by Saudi Arabia and talking
Qatar.
about the legality of it.
Yeah, the country of Qatar, who gave it to?
Is it Qatar?
Yeah.
That's right, it was Qatar. My bad. Um,
All right.
I've been looking more into the controversial end of it than where it came from. That's my bad. But
That's okay.
anyway, I don't understand, I guess, the big hoorah being created over this. You got any input on that?
I do. So, the Flying Palace is what it's being referred to as.
Ah,
I guess I guess the exchange started sometime in February. In other words, knew it was coming. Um, not that, but that wasn't his purpose. That wasn't President Trump's purpose of his visit over to Arabia.
okay.
Um, it wound up where the discussion of that came to be. And I don't know that it was pre-planned or not, but what they're saying on one side is it's perfectly legal gift um, given to the government and the U.S. Air Force, basically
Right.
what ownership would be. And the other side, on the other hand, they're saying it's an illegal gift because and you can't compare it to the Statue of Liberty because the Statue of Liberty was given to the people. I did compare it to the Statue of Liberty because France gave that statue to the US of A, right?
Right. They gave
Uh,
that to the USA in 1886, is what I'm
yeah.
gathering. Well,
So they're saying that was given to the people, and the plane was given to the government, which is not the same, right? That's
okay.
what they're saying.
Okay.
My discovery is the government is the people. In other words, if you read the
Of the people,
Constitution,
by the people, for the people.
it does because we we the people voted for the government to act in our behalf.
Exactly.
Um, and then the armed forces are there to protect the people,
Right.
protect the U.S. of A. and the people.
So my input on that, Bones, they if their argument is the Statue of Liberty was given to the people, then let me cite a few more examples and have them explain this to me. The Resolute desk that sits in the White House was given to President Rutherford Hayes by Queen Victoria in 1880. It still sits in the Oval Office, and the presidents still sit at it. You also have two giant pandas that were given to Nixon in 72 by China. You also have a friendship train, which was 49 boxcars in 1947. The Senate gavel actually was shattered in 1954 during a heated exchange and was replaced with a replica and gifted to the United States by India. Those are just a few of the examples. So are those to the
Yeah.
people as well?
So my take is that it would be to the people, and then there's that helicopter that was given to Clinton.
Now, I researched that and found that to be false news.
False news, no helicopter.
Yes, I researched that because I had been seeing that a $17 million helicopter had been given to Bill Clinton so that he could fly through Saudi airspace while he was there, and that it was gifted to him and that he was still using it to travel today. I did some research, and there is absolutely no truth to that claim.
Okay, axe that one.
Yes, so
No, no gift.
that was a rebuttal from the other side, and it has been proven completely false. There is no truth to that one whatsoever. But these other
Like,
ones are
like
prime
the gift that,
examples.
yeah, but it's unlike the gift that Monica Lewinsky gave him.
Right. one that can't be taken back.
Exactly.
And there are several other examples when we're not talking about items, but we're talking about money that has been gifted to different administrations by other countries to be used by the United States government. So I did a little research into what is this clause in the Constitution they're talking about. What the clause says, in essence, it basically it's titled the Foreign Emoluments Clause, included in the Constitution to protect against bribery and corruption of federal officials by foreign governments. It prohibits any government official from receiving a present, emolument, office, or title of any kind from a foreign government without approval of the Congress. However, several presidents have received valuable gifts from foreign governments. It's going on in this article to actually list a few of them. And some of those gifts were given, but they were turned over to the government and not to be kept personally. So this is where the confusion comes in. According to the Constitution, a government official cannot accept a gift without approval from Congress. But these were not personal gifts to these presidents. They were gifts to the country. Gifts to the people, as you stated the argument was. A personal gift is not allowed to be accepted without congressional approval. Now, this mirrors exactly the Federal Employees Clause, the State Employees Clause that I was under, which, when I worked for the state, you could not receive any gift or benefit from any person without having it approved. And that makes sense. It prevents bribery, which is the intention of the Constitution. It's the intention of those government policies. It's to prevent a government official from receiving a bribe and then giving favoritism in return.
Right.
Now, in this particular instance, it doesn't appear that the gift was to President Donald Trump. It was to the United States to be used as a replacement for Air Force One, which, as you stated, means it belongs to the United States Air Force or the people of the United States. So the issue here is, again, it's not about whether the plane was received.
And he actually,
We're right back to that.
So Trump actually is not going to take possession of that plane. The United States Air Force will take possession of that plane when the time comes.
Right.
And then it'll be put in place to be used as Air Force One, which is kind of awesome in a lot of ways, But along with the deal with Qatar, he brought back to the U.S. of A. many other things.
And that's where I was going to go with it. So it's this portion of the Constitution is meant so a public official couldn't be bribed and turn around and show favoritism or give something to another country in return in the form of favoritism. It seems to me that the contract he got for Boeing favors the United States. It doesn't give the other country any favoritism. They actually signed a contract. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it was for billions of dollars for several aircraft that they're purchasing to be built by Boeing, which is going to pull Boeing, which was on the verge of failing, right back into business, create multitudes of U.S. jobs in the aircraft industry. It's going to benefit the United States. It helps our economy. And it flooded our economy with billions of dollars.
Yeah, and in the near future, I don't imagine, once the plane has been taken possession of by the United States Air Force, I don't imagine that we'll see in the media anything that's about the contracts that he has created between the United States and Qatar.
Right.
I don't think we'll see hardly anything at all. just the hubbub about the gift of the plane,
Right.
Um, um, so anyway, that's my prediction for that in the future. Is I don't believe that there'll
It,
be much.
it will go quietly away. And the other thing there is, okay, so you're saying they haven't taken actual possession of the plane yet.
Correct, is what I read this morning.
Okay, so it's been stated that it's being gifted. Would Congress not have time to go in and approve that? Or do they have any say in whether or not we actually receive it?
That's a legal issue that I'm not sure of. I imagine the judge could answer that question. You
Well,
know,
my
but
point being, uh, it's been brought up. It hasn't been followed through on at this point. Then
correct.
Congress is aware that it's happening. If they didn't want it to go through, you'd think they could jump into session and put a halt to it.
Well, from what I was reading, and I'd have to put facts to it, but they've known about the possible gift of this plane since February. How much time? How much time has Congress had actually to make a decision on whether it's a legitimate gift or not for the
Right.
country?
So
You
they're,
know,
we're having issues raised again just to throw up red flags, just to create more and more hate and discontent, division among the people, when these are actually good things. Um, Again, I, I have seen a list of things that President Trump and his administration have completed in the past week that just no, but you don't see them in the news.
no, no, and I wanted to say this about Qatar. So, and you can do the research on this, but for many years, the United States has been an ally with Qatar. And Qatar has been an ally with the U.S. of A. Or Qatar should stand out as an example of support of the U.S. of A.
Right.
So
And
I
that
just
makes
wanted to.
perfect sense. Um, they're friends and allies, and which goes hand in hand with what we've done with how many other countries we help them out.
Right.
What about the outgoing gifts to other countries? Are those covered? Are those
Yeah. Right.
supposed to be approved by Congress? Because I can, as you've said before, I don't have enough fingers and toes to count the amount
Run out.
of
Run out.
gifts and money that have been given to other countries by other administrations that I don't believe had congressional approval. What was the
Right.
return on those? Was there some conflict? There's smoke that there
Right.
has been a lot of shady dealings. Um, the outcome yet to be seen. I'm not going to make a determination on it because I haven't heard all the facts yet.
No, the facts of this matter is I believe it's a legitimate gift from a country that's been allied with the United States for many years. I think it goes back, and I'd have to look, but I think it goes back before the Desert Storm era, where Qatar had allied with the U.S. of A. U.S. of A. had helped them, and they have also reciprocated and helped us. So, what is the deal? You
Yeah,
know,
what is the problem with this is what I'm saying. There is no legitimate problem. And in my opinion, twisting the interpretation of the Constitution to claim that this is some sort of bribery that is being accepted by President Donald Trump, to me, uh, is a farce.
hey,
The
oh,
interpretation's obviously been twisted because the interpretation and it's actually outlined in plain language. No person shall receive a gift without approval of Congress. And again, we've cited several examples, and there are more as I go down the list. There's example after example of things that have been given to the United States by other countries, no indication of any congressional approval. because it was given to the United States. Now, if a person received a gift, they would have to have it approved by Congress.
Right, right.
And
And
oftentimes, as I've been reading, those gifts that were received personally and approved by Congress, when the person left office, they turned it over to the government rather than keeping
right.
it.
Yeah, it remains in use, or they remain in use by the U.S. government. Put it
Right.
in the museum. In the museum. Um, and that's something that Trump had said with this plane. Although it hasn't happened, he said the plane will be, uh, be used by the United States Air Force as Air Force One during his term, and after that, it will go into the museum or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
which it could still be used, it being a perfectly good plane, but it'll still be in possession of the United States government, the people, and probably available for the people to tour and look at, things like
Exactly.
that.
As an example and as a national treasure.
I think it's a beautiful thing, really,
I do
with
too.
the with,
I
with the financial outcome that is proposed for Boeing and then other companies. You have to consider how many companies are involved in building aircraft.
right. Boeing has subcontractors, I'm sure. So to summarize this conversation up, Qatar has gifted this plane to the United States to be used as Air Force One, as many other gifts have been given to the United States and people of the United States and to the government itself. And yet, this one is being attacked by an interpretation of the Constitution claiming that he is receiving a gift without the authority or approval of Congress. These other examples we've cited, Statue of Liberty, Resolute Desk, two giant pandas, friendship train, Senate gavel, and it goes on and on.
Yeah, there's a much bigger list. I looked at the list. There's a much
Yeah, there's
bigger
a
list.
much
Yeah,
larger list. Um, One can only believe that this is a another attempt to discredit this administration and attack this administration, and they're reaching on this one. The Constitution is clear. It's clearly being misrepresented by trying to say this was done for, given to President Donald Trump by Qatar as a personal gift that wasn't approved by Congress. That's just not the truth. So I believe our research was pretty complete on this. I think the facts are pretty clear. The only
and
cloud is the interpretation of the Constitution. But if you compare that to federal policies, it says no employee shall receive a gift without approval of the administration. This isn't a gift to
right.
President Donald Trump. This is a gift to the United States.
Yeah, I agree with all of that, and and the end of this story has yet to come. There'll have to be a follow up on this story because
Right.
it's not completed yet.
Well, we'll have to see what happens. Like you said, your prediction of once the plane is here, once the contracts are in place, does the smoke clear, or do they continue to pursue this matter? You're right. We're going to have to follow up on this to see what the outcome is. I'm sure there'll be legal challenges, as there has been at every turn and every move that the administration has done. And we'll do a follow-up video on that. In the meantime, you heard it here from Bones and Padre Havoc. We see no problem with this, no violation of the Constitution in our interpretation. Several examples of other things that have occurred in the past that nobody has raised an eyebrow about, and it appears to be one more personal attack on this administration. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, and
Stay positive, everybody.